Alright, Shalom Hebrews. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Okay, Hebrews, we basically know what we up against, and it's like if you've been studying with the Israelite Brotherhood, we know that we the Israelites without a question of a doubt, you know what I'm saying? But without a question of a doubt, we know that we the Israelites, the people from the transatlantic slave trade. We know that the Jews and the Caucasians ain't have no power to, enslave, people's millions of peoples for hundreds of years, 275 years, that they didn't have the power, man, to do that, and that they got that power from Almighty Yah. You know what I'm saying? That power come from Almighty Yah. And man, you know what I'm saying? It's a known fact. You know what I'm saying? Man, if you ever now this one thing I can, tip the hat to them Israelites that's lost, that claim to be from the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? Is when they come out with that book long time ago. You know what I'm saying? But it's this brother, you know what I'm saying? Name what's that brother name? Tony Martin. Tony Martin go into detail, live video, you know what I'm saying? But how the secret relationship between the so-called blacks and the Jews, you know what I'm saying? And it's documented, the Sephardi and the Ashkenazi participation in the transatlantic slave trade. So, we know, that happened, and we know that we are the Israelites that fulfill the prophecies that Almighty Yah said that if the covenant was broken, how the Israelites would be enslaved. And then I prove without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. Now, we're not searching and guessing with the Israelite Brotherhood. We going on facts. We going on straight facts, because we can't, play with this Israelite heritage. Just too far into our heritage to be playing with this heritage. Man, we too far gone, man. We've been in captivity 400 years. And man, it's time to wake up with correct history and to show what happened to us, and then for it to become common knowledge among Israelites. We, that know this, men are straight out blessed, because if you look at the other Israelites and the organizations, man, they don't have a clue, and they wailing left field, but they gon' know the truth, and Almighty Yah gon' wean them Israelites, them babies, from, you know what I'm saying, that false milk, you know what I'm saying, that they own, and that they gonna come, get with the Israelite Brotherhood and, get their bones strengthened and get some strength so they can stand up. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we got to do. We got to stand up as Israelites. Man, there's a lot going on, and the beast is trying to take us out. You know what I'm saying? That's like the churches. Man, the churches and then signed on to be, that's like the greater E-money here in Memphis. Me and that devil that preaching and signed on to have his place as the place where they give out the shots, and he makes sure all his members get the shot. Now we know that the demigod worshippers cannot go back to the promised land. Hebrews, don't be sad, you know what I'm saying, because our peoples, rushing to these folks' destruction, and man, ain't no telling what's gonna happen to them 5-6 years from now, and how they ain't gonna be able to connect that shot to their illness, or what's taking them down is what the devil's plan is. They've been doing this for a long time. They know that once they inject you with their poison, that you just don't die right then. Some folks die right then, but that it mostly take a few years, for it to whack your body out and turn your body upside down, you know what I'm saying, and then you gone and perish away. Well, it's a lot of folks that don't believe in Almighty Yah, but believe in Jesus. Believe in Jesus, and your washes none took them shots. And the devil now, we got to think that our enemies ain't never sought our best interest. Man, they just restarted recording. Man, a couple of years ago, the police murdering the Israelites that's called African Americans, and for like 400 years they ain't had no documentation of how many police has been killed Israelites throughout the United States in the captivity that we in, and how they ain't document none of that up to recently because we made noises, and then with the phones, and then the federal government say that they gonna start recording how many deaths that the police inflict upon the Israelite community that's called African Americans. And man, way before they start recording, man, everybody knew somebody that then got everybody in the Israelite community knew somebody that then got killed by the police. You see what I'm saying? Man, ain't no justice for us. But if you Israelites none took them shots, and man, the 5-6 years from now, you ain't gonna be able to make no connection, man, to your illness to that shot. And then by that time, the statute of limitations for those companies, man, being expired, they slick to know how to inject you and then let the statute of limitation pass, man. But man, before the germ become active inside you and stuff, they got it down to a science. They using the Egyptian medical practices on us. We was told that we would be taken to Egypt in ships. So all them Israelites, man, they believe in Jesus and Yawashis. It's not in the Tanakh. It's not in the Tanakh that you go back to the promised land to worship Jesus or Yawashi. It's not in the Tanakh that a Yawashi or a Jesus is coming to save the Israelites. I just did a video not too long ago, man, about Emmanuel and Prophet Isaiah's sons that was used for signs with the Israelites, dealing with the Assyrian captivity and so forth, and how Judah, was saved and so forth. All right, Israelites, if some of us, what I'm saying, some of the Israelites done took the shots. And man, we just gonna pray for you. That's all we can do. But you must know, what I'm saying? I don't believe Tanakh worshipers going for that stuff because we trust in Almighty Yah. And we gonna, get some type of papers from the health department or something saying that how we got to be exempt from that stuff because we worshipers of Yah. We worshipers of Yahweh. So we ain't finna take no shots. You know what I'm saying? And then if they say we can't go nowhere or travel, then, that's that on that. You know what I'm saying? And that how Almighty Yah gonna bring this system to an end, and we will be, taken up out of here. You know what I'm saying? But how about the people that worship Jesus and all them false gods? Man, they can't go back to the promised land when our captivity end. And the beast know this, so he trying to get everybody that don't worship Almighty Yah. Man, the beast is at them, and he trying to get them. He trying to get them because he know that they vulnerable and stuff, and he know that they can't go back to the promised land. So he focus on the Christian, the Israelites that believe in Christianity. Man, the devil is coming for you. Man, he coming to get you. You cannot go back to the promised land, and he know you can't go back to the promised land believing in Jesus. So it's like, man, a fox done been put into a chicken coop, and he can kill as many chickens as he want to. Many chickens as he want to. The farmer gone. He can kill as many chickens as he want to. It's what's happening with the Israelites that believe in Jesus and Yawashis, because you can't go back to the promised land. And then, as I explained in plenty of videos, that how the people in the New Testament are the settlers that settled in the promised land during Greek time and also during the Assyrian times. You know what I'm saying? When the Assyrians placed a whole nation, about 8-9 different nations of peoples in the northern kingdom while we were slipping on Egyptian religion. You know, they place them, the peoples from Babylon, and then it's a cold thing because I just recently did a video, man, about the Sephardim, the Sephardims, the Sephardies, the Sephardics, and how the Amorite families from Italy, the ancient Amorite families from Italy and Spain founded the Americas. You know, the Amorites, you know, got chased about the promised land by the Romans. You know, I explained how Ashkenazi and the Sephardi's been having proxy wars over the Israelite heritage. And that's basically where all the wars come from in the Western culture, is going to come from Ashkenazi and the Sephardi's fighting over the Israelite heritage. You know, and they've been doing it since, you know, we Israelites broke covenant. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, man, it's something else. But like I said, the good thing is, the blessing is that we know that we the Israelites without a shadow of a doubt, and we got the proof. We got the proof, and it's just countdown on the peoples that's claiming our heritage that are not Israelites. You know, I show they heritage clearly, and I cover, man, just about everything dealing with the Israelite history. You know what I'm saying? That I think that'll put us Israelites on the good road. You know what I'm saying? Man, history that our enemies cannot take a change. You know what I'm saying? That they got to lay down with this. And then how this is going to catch up with them sooner or later. This is going to catch up with them sooner or later is when the Israelites start supporting the Israelite Brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? Really start supporting. I'm talking about voicing, you know, hey, the Israelite Brotherhood doing this. And you know what I'm saying? You can say we doing this, because if you studying with the Israelite Brotherhood, I consider you family and a member. You know what I'm saying? If you've been studying with me, man, and I know who been studying with me, but if you just come around to the Israelite Brotherhood channel and you've been studying with me, and you recognize what's going on, then you part of the Israelite Brotherhood family. And our job, man, is to get this message out, because it's going to catch up. Man, it's going to catch up to the enemies, because Almighty Yah say so. You know, we're going to have to know truth. You know, we're going to have to know truth. And then, like I say, if you look at the history that the other Israelite organizations are pushing, how they don't even deal with this subject, none at all, and how they kind of like, you know, on Jewish myths and so forth. But this is what I want to talk about, Israelites. I want to talk about I want to talk about prophecies that hasn't come to pass for the Israelites. You know, freedom from captivity in strange land, having our own land, and sovereignty. And you know, it's a lot of prophecies dealing with the Israelites in captivity and their resurrection that hasn't come to pass. Now, this is where the world has been tricked, because the people who we abandoned our heritage to, the Babylonians, you know what I'm saying, that they were actors. Man, they actors. Man, they the world greatest actors. Man, if you ask me, how they the world greatest actors, man, and how they deceive the whole world into thinking that they are the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? These are the actors right here, and that's where acting come from. Acting gonna come from, you know, the whole acting. You know what I'm saying? The performance in Hollywood, the fake sin. You know, people acting out sin that hasn't happened. That's encouraging people to do sin, like the TV, the movies and stuff. You know, the movies, and man, if you look at the script writers and stuff, man, they gonna be a whole nothing but Jewish script writers and stuff, and how they writing things that hadn't happened, and you know, man, creating sin and people, man, you know what I'm saying, influencing them and stuff. Well, you know, how about that the Amorites are the first actors. They the first actors, and that's why come, you know, them folks control Hollywood is because they the first actors, man, and how that they been acting like Israelites, man, for 2,700 some years. You know, they been acting like Israelites and deceiving the whole world, and then deceive the whole world in 19, because we know that the Sephardims were scattered by the Romans in 70 AD, and then how did they try to use their expulsion and diaspora as the genuine Israelites diaspora, and then how they try to trick the world and to make the world think that the prophecy of the Israelites' return had come to pass in 1943 or 48 or whichever time that those, Jews come to the promised land. You know what I'm saying? And how that was fulfilling scriptures and so forth. Now that's what they want the world to think. And the world actually think this, but because they've been thinking that the Jews, the Ashkenazi, and the Sephardi's are the Israelites. They've been thinking this for 2,000 something years, and then it's not the world's fault for not being knowledgeable, you know what I'm saying, about this, because, that they wasn't there. All the European nations and Eastern nations were not there. But then some of them kind of was, because a whole lot of different nations, Eastern nations, and as well as the European nations made up the Babylonian Empire at the time. The Ashkenazi was there as the Chaldeans that chased us into Africa. So yeah, them folks know and stuff. But how did the peoples try to pretend that they don't know is that what happened during the Babylonian Wars is when the Israelites ran into Africa to do Egyptian religion, abandoning the covenant to the Sephardics. Them people, the Sephardims, and those Sephardims were Amorites. They was Amorites, and then how that, man, the whole world, because that they wasn't there during that one Pacific time and era, and that it wasn't recorded, that the people then accepted the Sephardi's as the Israelites. And Ashkenazi too, who settled during the Babylonian Wars in Scythopolis. Ashkenazi name is Scythian in history and so forth. And then how did they made up the Babylonian army and then chased us real Israelites into Africa? Well, when they settled, they didn't tell nobody that the Israelites ran into Africa or meant to do the Egyptian religion. If you ain't read the Tanakh and you don't know that yourself, that they not finna tell you that, because they trying to hold on to an Israelite heritage, you see. And then after all that time, you know what I'm saying, they having the Israelite heritage after a whole bunch of empires and then come through the promised land, especially the Greeks and then the Romans, and then the Romans chased the Sephardi's to Spain, and they would go off to the Americas, but people thought that they was the real Israelites. They was, they had Hebrew names, they spoke Hebrew, and they had been among us, they lived among us, what I'm saying, for a while as Amorites, so, they, got our heritage. And then later on throughout time, they had little persecutions, mostly the Sephardi persecution gonna come about them monopolizing trade routes in the Ashkenazi held lands and so forth. That's like in Germany. Man, you didn't want to be no Sephardi or a Sephardic Jew. That's who the ones that had the yellow stars put on them. Man, you didn't want to be them. You know what I'm saying? In Germany, taking over, which they had, and then how Ashkenazi got control of his homeland, by the Ashkenazi Jews being in Hitler's army, over 20 generals. You could type that in, that how the Ashkenazi practicing Ashkenazi Jews was in Hitler's army, and then how the men, they robbed the men that sell Hardys all over, especially in North Africa and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They robbed them wherever they was. Ashkenazi went, you know what I'm saying, and robbed them and stuff. And then it kind of gave Ashkenazi the lead, you know, that they have today and so forth. That's like I have proved that the Karaite Jews, men that was in Ukraine and so forth, you know, the Karaites and the Kurds gonna be the offsprings of the Khazars. You know, the Kurds converted to Islam. You know what I'm saying? Some of them, but how did they the offsprings of the men of the Khazar that, you know, lived in Armenia and Georgia and the Caucasus Mountain and so forth. You know what I'm saying? How Hitler didn't bother the Karaite Jews. So it's a myth that Hitler just was after every Jew and just after all the Jews. You know, that's what Hollywood created. You know, them people covering up they proxy wars and so forth, and then using false history to push a false agenda on the world, as what happened with the Israelite history and heritage when the Israelite heritage fell into the Sephardi's hand, and then they allowed, you know, Ashkenazi to get books and so forth. But when Ashkenazi took books during the Roman times, but then how did they created the synagogues and the churches? You see what I'm saying? And then how the churches, you know what I'm saying, the Christian churches are used to promote the Jews, Ashkenazi, and the Sephardis as the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? The original Israelites. That's what Christianity do, you know, and it promotes them as the original Israelites. And then how the whole world been fooled by that mess, you know, been fooled by that mess. You know, us real Israelites is waking up now, you know, and it has irreversible, you know, because it's prophecy, you know, that we would wake up, you know, and then how we gonna put the real picture on the Israelites' history as the Israelite Brotherhood has been doing, you know. But like I had said before, man, me and you Israelites that believe in Yahweh and Jesus, you can't go back to the promised land. It is not in prophecy and it's not in the Tanakh that you go back to the promised land to worship a God's son or anything associated with that mess. You know what I'm saying? And how that's real evil to men to associate demigod worship with Almighty Yah, and how Almighty Yah is dealing with his people, his covenant breakers. You know what I'm saying? His covenant breakers, and how that, you know what I'm saying, that the peoples that didn't break the covenant, like I say, the Jews, man, they don't even have the curses on them. You know what I'm saying? That the scriptures specified that the Israelites would have on them, you know what I'm saying, for breaking covenant and so forth. But now I'm finna get into this Tanakh, and then I want to show you Israelites, you know what I'm saying, some of the prophecies that ain't came to pass. You know, some quite a few prophecies that ain't come to pass. And then if they ain't come to pass, then they set to come to pass. And then they can't come to pass under the under the Jews. You know what I'm saying? They can't come past, they cannot come to pass the prophecies under the Jews. You know what I'm saying? Because the Jews are not Israelites. You know, and then if they are not the Israelites, then these prophecies are still set to come to pass. Because like I say, that them Jews going to the promised land in 1940, 1943, 1948 was not the fulfillment of the Israelites' prophecy of return, and how that was the Jews trying to pull a fast one and stuff, trying to make folks think that prophecies and then come to pass. But this is what I want to show you about that Jesus stuff. So you Israelites that believe in Yahweh and Jesus, man, the devil is coming after you. because he know you're vulnerable. Look, this is Jeremiah 10, verse 11. This shall ye say unto them, the gods that have not made the heavens and the earth, even they shall perish from the earth and from under these heavens. Jesus there, that's him. He ain't made no heavens and no earth. You know what I'm saying? And how the earth was here when his mama allegedly had him. You see what I'm saying? And so, he ain't no God to be worshipped. Just point blank. All right, Hebrews. It's a lot of prophecies, that ain't come to pass. It's a lot of prophecies that ain't came to pass, that that's got to come to pass, about the Israelites' redemption. You know what I'm saying? And Almighty Yah had already, set it out. You know what I'm saying? Of what our heritage, you know what I'm saying, would be when He gave us the covenant after we exodus Egypt. You know what I'm saying? That's like this. Thy first fathers, this is Isaiah 43:27. Thy first fathers have sinned, and thy teachers have transgressed against me. You know what I'm saying? That's what our ancestors did. That's what our ancestors did to have us in this position that we're in now. Thy first fathers have sinned, and thy teachers have transgressed against me. Therefore I have profaned the princes of the sanctuary, and have given Jacob to the curses, and Israel to reapproach. That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Almighty Yah chose us for a reason. It was a reason why Almighty Yah chose us. That's like our enemies. Check this out. Our enemies, when they be making false Israelite history, they look at the real Israelites and they don't think that it's possible that we can wake up. And they look at the state of mind of the people and how the people is just, just gone. Just gone. Gone. Don't have a clue. Don't know what's going on, and just born just to die in ignorance, not knowing that they Israelites, and how our enemies know this, and then how he glee. Because he don't think, it's impossible for the Israelites to wake up. If you look at the state of man that the people in, the majority. But this is where our enemy unestimated Almighty Yah. Because if you look at the history that I show, we waking up. You know what I'm saying? We waking up, and it's a few of us waking up, but we waking up. And then this let you know that Almighty Yah is real. Almighty Yah is real because, he done laid it out, for us basically what happened, and how we lost the covenant and was tricked into Africa by the Egyptians and then enslaved, and how that lead to us now. That's without question. That's without question. Look. Thy first fathers have sinned, thy teachers have transgressed against me. Therefore I have profaned the princes of the sanctuary, and have given Jacob to the curses, and Israel to reapproach. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. This said the Elohim that made thee, and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou, Jeshurun, whom I have chosen. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessings upon thine offspring. See, our enemies know this. They know this. They know we gonna wake up. They know we gonna wake up. But if they could prolong it, and they can get the Israelites that ain't into covenant, that's like, our enemies, if you are out of heritage, our enemies is coming after you. You know what I'm saying? If you're an Israelite and you pray to Almighty Yah, the enemy don't want no parts of you. But if you a Negro, a black, a African American, man, the enemy is coming after y'all because he know that you can't go back to the promised land and that you're vulnerable. You're vulnerable because you don't have Almighty Yah on your side. Look, for I will pour out water upon him that is thirst and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour out my spirit upon thy seed and my blessings upon thee and offspring, and they shall spring up as among the grass, as willow by the watercourse. That's what's happening now. This Israelite brotherhood history is the watercourse. It's the watercourse. You know what I'm saying? And then how the Israelites mean it is, it is millions of us. And then how you got to be like the willows by the watercourse, those little stalks that you could tell the difference from the grass, to be the traditional Israelites that's still up under Amorite man control. You know what I'm saying? But how we is the willows by the watercourse. You know what I'm saying? We getting that truth. One shall say, I am the Elohim's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Elohim, and surname himself by the name of Israel. Meaning that those Israelites must have had lost their heritage and just now waking up and start renaming themselves by their ancient names, which is happening today. Which is happening today. Some of us still got slavery names legally, but how that we done changed our names, you know what I'm saying, from within ourselves, saying that we Israelites, you know what I'm saying, and that we Jacob's children. This coming to pass. Look, one shall say, I am the Elohim's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Elohim, and surname himself by the name of Israel. That's happening. This said the Elohim, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, the Elohim of hosts. I am the first, and I am the last, and beside me there is no God. Look, there is no God besides Almighty Yah. So you Israelites that's been teaching Yawashis, God's sons, and believing in our enemies who taught us about that God's son racket stuff on the plantation. You know what I'm saying? And then how Almighty Yah said in his Tanakh that there is no God, you know what I'm saying, beside him. No God. Look, for this said the Elohim, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, the Elohim of hosts. I am the first and I am the last, and beside me there is no God. And who as I shall call and shall declare it and set it in order for me. You know what I'm saying? Who could do that? And who as I shall call shall declare it and set it in order for me. Since I appoint the ancient people, and the things that are coming shall come, let them show unto them. Fear ye not, neither be afraid, have not I told thee from the time that have I declared it? Ye are even my witness. Is there a God beside me? Yeah, there is no God. I know not. Almighty, y'all don't even know nothing about no God's sons saving, coming to save the Israelites after they done broke covenant for Egyptian religion. He don't know nothing about that God. So y'all been worshiping the strange God that was given to us by our enemies on the plantation, as can be proven easily. Look, they that make a graven image are all of them vanity, and their delectable things shall not profit, and they are their own witness. They see not, nor know that they may be ashamed. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way the Israelites is today. They don't know truth to be ashamed and going to church, listening to that wickedness that the preacher be preaching on Sundays. Sun worship. You see what I'm saying? Man, that's a cold thing how they got the Israelites in there doing sun worship on Sunday. Sunday is sun worship. And the Israelites go to church to worship Isis Horus, disguised as Jesus, the Egyptian religion, who had formed a god or molten a image that is
profitable for nothing. Behold, all his fellows shall be ashamed, and the workmen they are men. Let them all be gathered together. Let them stand up. Yet they shall fear, and they shall be ashamed together. The smith with the thongs both worketh in the coals, and fashion it with hammers, and worketh it with strength of his arms. He is hungry, and his strength faileth. He drinketh no water, and is faint. The carpenter stretcheth out his rule. He maketh it out with a line, and he fitted it with plane, and he maketh it out with the compass, and maketh it after the figure of a man, according to the beauty of a man, that it may remain in the house. Statues of Jesus, they got that in their houses now. He heweth him down cedars, and take the cypress and oak, which he strengthened for himself, and the trees of the forest he planted as ash, and the rain doeth nourish it. Then shall it be for a man to burn, for he shall take thereof and warm himself. He kindled it and baketh bread. He maketh a god and worship it. He maketh it a graven image and falleth down. Therefore, it's the same as the Israelites worshiping all this materialistic stuff. It's the same. It's just that the idols morphed into other trinkets. Cars and clothes and so forth. Look, he burneth part of it in the fire, and part thereof, and he eateth flesh. Roasted he roasteth wrote and is satisfied. He warmeth himself, and I am warm. I have seen the fire, and the residue thereof he maketh a god, even his graven image. That's like, the Israelites, man, we can worship all kind of stuff. Our enemies give us stuff to worship, and matter of fact, that's how they entities become popular. Gucci ain't popular unless an Israelite getting killed for it. Prada ain't popular, meaning unless an Israelite done got his head chopped off for it. He followed down unto it and worship it and prayed unto it and said, deliver me, for thou art my God. Something that we done made out of our hands and so forth. That's how they was back then, and that's how the Israelites are now. They have not known nor understood, for he had shut their eyes that they cannot see, and their heart that they cannot understand. And none considered in his heart, neither is there knowledge nor understanding to say, I have burnt part of it in the fire. I have also baked bread upon the coals thereof. That's like now. The Israelites don't have the capacity to understand that why would our enemies give us a God to worship during the slavery days? That we didn't come over here believing in Jesus. This is simple knowledge, that we didn't come over here believing in Jesus. That why would our enemies give us a God to worship and then we believe in it? It's the same as the Israelites making gods out of things that's worthless and nothing, that they use to eat and burn food on and stuff. And that's the same as the mentality that the Israelites have now. And none considered in his heart, neither is there knowledge nor understanding to say, I have burnt part of it in the fire. Also I have baked bread upon the coals thereof. Men, I have roasted flesh and eaten it, and shall I make the residue thereof an abomination? Shall I fall down to the stalk of a tree? He feedeth on ashes. A deceived heart hath turned him aside, that he cannot deliver his soul. A deceived heart has turned the Israelites aside, that their soul cannot be delivered, is when you worshiping them false gods that the enemies gave you. Man, if the enemy gave you Jesus, man, he didn't give it to you for you to connect to Almighty Yah. He gave it to you for you to be damned in the later days. He knew that we worship the Egyptian religion, the knockoff, the parent religion where the Christianity come from. All right. He feedeth on ashes, and deceived heart hath turned him aside, that he cannot deliver his soul, nor say, is there not a lie in my right hand? Remember these, O Jacob and Israel, for thou art my servant. I have formed thee. Thou art my servant, O Israel. Thou shalt not be forgotten of me. I have blotted out as a thick cloud thy transgression, and as a cloud thy sins. Return unto me, for I have redeemed thee, Sing, O ye heavens, for the Elohim hath done it. Shout, ye lower parts of the earth, and break forth into singing, ye mountains, O forests, and every tree therein. For the Elohim hath redeemed Jacob, and glorified himself in Israel. This saith the Elohim, thy Redeemer, he that formed thee from the womb. I am the Elohim that maketh all things, that stretcheth forth the heaven alone, that spreadeth abroad the earth by myself, that frustrate the tokens of the liars, and maketh diviners mad, that turneth wise men backward, and maketh their knowledge foolish. That's what Almighty Yah did with the false Israelite history when he let the Israelite Brotherhood present the real history to the Israelite community, man, of what happened. So we know that prophecy come to truth, and this is truth, that frustrate the token of the liars, and maketh diviners mad, that turneth wise men backward, and maketh their knowledge foolish, that confirmeth the word of his servant, and performeth the counsel of his messenger, that saith to Jerusalem, thou shalt be inhabited, and to the cities of Judah ye shall be built, and I will rise up the decayed places thereof. This said to the deep, be dry, and I will dry up the rivers. This said of Cyrus, he is my shepherd, and shall perform all my pleasure. And this sure enough come pass with Cyrus, and that was a prophecy in 711, like 152 years before Cyrus was born. All right, Hebrews, we know a whole lot of prophecies ain't come to pass. You know what I'm saying? That's like the prophecy meaning about our redemption. You know what I'm saying? Meaning about our redemption ain't came to pass. You know what I'm saying? About us being redeemed and taken out of captivity ain't came to pass yet. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna have to come to pass because Almighty Yah said it would come to pass. You know what I'm saying? So, it's some prophecies meaning about the Israelites' redemption. And that's gonna come to pass. And let me find some of them. And I had a few of them outlined. Alright. When Prophet Isaiah told us, you know what I'm saying, about how that the enemies gonna have to carry us men on their back. You know what I'm saying? To Jerusalem because, we, gonna be getting redeemed by Almighty Yah. And then you go to, I think that'd be Isaiah 14. This is Israel's restoration. And this ain't came to pass. This has not come to pass. This prophecy ain't came to pass. Isaiah 14, for the Elohim will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. That ain't happened yet. That ain't happened yet. And we know that the Israelites that made it to the promised land, after escaping, after escaping captivity, in the 70s, in the 60s, they was burning us up, and then how a group of Israelites escaped the captivity and made it over to Liberia. And then when they got men to Liberia, the Liberians jumped on them and whooped them, and then some kind of way they made it to the promised land. You know what I'm saying? They made it to the promised land, but how they are not joined with the Jews there. And then we know that once the Israelites got into the promised land, that's supposed to start the turning of the wars away, that how people work for war and want war all the time, and how we Israelites coming back to the promised land, men supposed to change all that, and how people ain't gonna want to fight in war no more, and how all the religions, the Christianity, Judaism and Christianity and Islam supposed to be dissolving because the people gonna know that the people that created those religions were not the Israelites. Judaism was created by the Sephardics and Ashkenazi.
That's not an Israelite creation. Christianity come off that. That is not an Israelite creation. And then Islam follow the footsteps of Christianity and then okay Christianity as if it was real. And then as I explained in the video, that the Jews during Muhammad time who he interacted with were not the Israelites, but the people that we abandoned our heritage to, and how he didn't have no clue of that. How he didn't have no clue of that and referred to them as the people of the book as if they was the original Israelites, and then supposed to build a religion off they falseness, they mistakes and stuff. And that can't happen because they wasn't Israelites. They're gonna be faulty and untruthful and unrighteous anyway. And you know what I'm saying? Ain't no religion supposed to come off that. All right. For the Elohim will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Elohim for servants and handmaids. Now the peoples who enslaved us, men supposed to be helping us come back, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. See, them Israelites that left in the 70s and made it over to the promised land, they didn't come back by prophecy. That's why come they living in the desert next to nuclear plants and so forth. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Elohim for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. We should rule over our oppressors, being that we the real original Israelites, and that how the people that's been portraying to be Israelites are false, and the world is gonna see that. So then they gonna have to come in up under us and you know be with us in order not to perish and so forth. All right. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Elohim shall give thee rest. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Elohim shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from thy hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. Now we know that the peoples that went back, the Jews that went to the promised land in 1943 are not the Israelites. You know, they are not the Israelites, but because they ain't got no rest from their sorrows and fear and what hard bondage they been put through. What bondage the Jews been put through? What bondage Ashkenazi and the Sephardists been put through on planet Earth? What they been enslaved at and forced to work for free, building a nation and so forth. What it happened at? It ain't happened nowhere on planet Earth, and how that their history is well documented by this historian named Max I. DeMont. Man, I love Max I. DeMont because he tell it on himself. He tell it on himself, and then he tell how the Jews had a glorious, gracious time up off the promised land when the covenant was broken during the Babylonian Wars, and how they ain't suffered at all and just had a golden spoon. You know what I'm saying? So we know that that's not them, and that they have not been captives anywhere. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Elohim for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. This book right here show you who started the slavery trade. Man, it tell you, man. I'm talking about, man, it tell you. Man, it tell you, man, who started the slavery trade. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of information, man. They got the information well documented. Well documented. You know what I'm saying? Coming from the Jewish people's archives and the books and the stuff that they done kept over the years as remembrance. You know, the men about their trade route glories and so forth, and how that all them folks, you know what I'm saying, come over here and brought slaves. You know what I'm saying?
And, the secret relationship. You know what I'm saying? Throughout history, Jews have faced charges of economic exploitation of Gentile communities around the world. Indeed, no single group of people have faced blanket expulsion in so many places around the world as frequently as have the Jews. You see, from that's what happened in Germany, mean with Hitler, with the proxy wars, because them folks had locks and had locks on the economy. The German Ashkenazi stronghold for a long time, being that they had got all that slavery money from the cotton and selling it all around the world and stuff, and was sitting there rich, and then how he come rob them for some of that money. Look, throughout history, Jews have faced charges of economic exploitation of Gentile communities around the world. Indeed, no single group of people have faced blanket expulsion in so many places around the world as frequently have the Jews. The pattern and the charges are familiar: monopolization, usury, sharp practices, selling cheap goods, frequently bankruptcies, and all such claims seem to prefix the expulsion order and are vigorously denied both by those charged and by the Jewish writers of history. You go on and explain how they, got their hands, deep in the slave trade with them Hamites, and then how did they profited from it, and then how they've been trying to keep that a secret all this time and so forth. But we already know what time it is on that. You know what I'm saying? We know that Almighty Yah calls out enslavement, and then that they just, man, was used as the vehicle to get it done. We ain't mad because we had to go through the curses for breaking covenant. That's how we gonna come out a better, stronger Israelite in the end, is that we went through the fire. You see what I'm saying? And then now they ain't gonna be able to pull them tricks on us. That they can't pull the tricks on the women, on the Israelite that's woke. That's like if we Israelites want to hurt and damage the Amorite culture, if we want to hurt and damage the Amorite culture, all we got to do is don't do the religions. Don't go buy nothing for Easter. Don't buy no Easter basket. Don't buy no food associated with Easter. Don't buy no Thanksgiving or 4th of July stuff or no Christmas stuff. Don't buy none of their holiday stuff. Stay away from them holidays and all that stuff. And then if we Israelites start doing it, they gonna know what time it is. They gonna know the show is over with for real. You know what I'm saying? All right. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Elohim shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from thy hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. And like I said, we know the Jews ain't served no hard bondage, that thou shalt take up this parable against the king of Babylon. And we know I've proven how this is the daughter of Babylon. This is the daughter of Babylon. This is it. Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, saying, how art the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased. The Elohim had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruleth the nations in anger and persecuted, and none hindered. The whole earth is at rest and quiet. Thou break forth in the singing. Yeah, the fir tree rejoices at thee, and the cedar of Lebanon. Say, since thou art laid down, no filler is come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It had raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall look and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? And that's what's happening now. That's what's happening now in the United States, real slick, trying to hide their eagerness to have an anti-Asian attitude, being that the Asian nations is going to a gold standard backed by China. They finna have some gold currency, gold backed currency, trading and trading for natural resources straight out, using their own national currency. And how that the West, Europe caught in the middle, and how America been using all that Fed currency and then set this so-called world order since World War II, and how everybody been meant to use the dollar
Oh man, it's over with. Its curtains, and how the United States do not have the power to overcome Russia and China. Guess why? Because Russia and China didn't participate in the slavery trade. They didn't go to Africa and steal Israelites and then take them to China. Or Russia didn't go to Africa and steal Israelites during the transatlantic slave trade and then transport them there. They was known for stopping slave ships and then freeing some of the peoples, you know. How about they are used to destroy America in the Western culture, as it happened over and over. How Almighty Yah used the nations that didn't have no dealings with us at first, and how he used them to whoop our enemies that oppresses us, and how that the whole new order is finna come in, and how that these folks finna have to fight for their life, and they ain't got long before they got to start a war. If they don't start a war real soon, they'll never get a chance to, because they finna get whooped with the Chinese motto, win without firing a bullet, win without firing a shot, is what they finna do. And they finna sweep the whole economic system off and up under the beast over here in America, and then how that they ain't gonna be able to go to war, cause they ain't gonna have no gold back currency to purchase no products to continue a war. So it's finna be over with. It's finna be over with, Israelites. And then that's why come the enemy is taking you down with injections. He real slick. He can get you with injections if you don't believe in Almighty Yah. You gonna run to the injections, and that's what he want, because he know by the time the country start going in chaos, that whatever he can use to activate them germs in you, that is gonna be curtains for you. All right, and it shall come to pass let me see. All right, he stirred up. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the earth. All they shall speak and say, art thou? And they shall say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Yeah, that's what all the third world nations finna say to America. The Amorite kingdom. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? And then guess what? The fallen angelic beings is tied up with the Amorites. I started to make a video showing how the fallen angelic beings got the Israelites' heritage. The fallen angelic beings is the Amorites, the Sephardi Jews. Edom mixed in with them too, and how that they was Amorites, and how we did not destroy the Amorites. We did not destroy the Amorites. So the Amorites end up getting in our heritage at 4 different times. I'm going to show. And then how that those Amorites were descendants mixed with the fallen angelic beings. So that when the Amorites got our heritage, it was like the fallen angelic beings taking control of Almighty Yah's heritage and law on earth. And then I explained in videos how, in Genesis, Almighty Yah was against them. That's why he flooded the earth, because the evil and wickedness that was coming from the fallen angelic beings that had mixed over to the population via the Amorites. You see what I'm saying? So the Amorites got the Israelite heritage now. It's the fallen angelic beings controlling the Israelite heritage. Easy to understand. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weakest the nations? For thou hast said in thee in heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yah. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And then that's how they being the fallen angelic beings' children. The Amorites, the Sephardi Jews. The Sephardi Jews are the fallen angelic beings' children. They're Amorites.
That's the fallen angelic beings' children right there. And they controlled our heritage. Ashkenazi took it away from them, but they in this together. You see what I'm saying? And this prophecy ain't came to pass. I would ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to the hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the whole earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Yeah, people are going to be surprised that the Sephardi Jews are the fallen angelic beings' children, and they are the peoples that brought the world to a wilderness, and has been right up under their nose for the whole time, and they never knew it. They never knew it. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? And that's finna start happening. People finna say, hey, me and the Sephardi's and the Ashkenazi are not the Israelites, and they been exploiting the whole earth, men up under those pretense right there. All right. That made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof with war and stuff, that opened out of the house of his prisoners all the kings of the nations, even all them lie in glory, everyone in his own house. There are cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the remain of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stone in the pit, a carcass trodden underfoot. Thou shalt not be joined them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children and for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land nor fill the face of the world with cities. And that's what's happening now. If we Israelites don't come into heritage, our Israelite heritage was supposed to stop the Canaanite spread, the Canaanite evil system from spreading around the earth. As I explained how Almighty Yah was against the tax, and how that you can't own the land, and that the land Almighty Yah made for his creation to dwell on, but how did the Amorite system tax you for living on the land that they control, and how they want to build cities all over the earth. Just like, the Tanakh say, but it ain't gonna happen. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise. Man, we can't let them rise. They ain't gonna never be able to rise again when we Israelites come into our heritage. That's like, man, I explained, I'm gonna post that video, how I destroyed the Israelite Brotherhood, destroyed Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. I destroyed both of them religions. All right. For I will rise up against them, said the Elohim of the host, and cut off from Babylon the name of the remain of son and nephew, said the Elohim, and I will also make it a possession for the bitter and pools of water. It's like it's everything no good here. All the water system is over with. The Elohim of host had sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass. As I have proposed, so shall it stand, that I will break. You know what I'm saying? The series, that man, all that happened. All right, Israelites, that prophecy ain't come to pass. And then the prophecy in the book of Ezekiel, oh man, it ain't came to pass. Man, this has not come to pass. Ezekiel 36, or is it 38? Man, about the Israel being comforted. You know what I'm saying? Israel being comforted in the valley of dry bones. Also, thou son of man, prophecy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, ye mountains of Israel, hear ye the word of the Elohim. This saith the Elohim Yah, because the enemy hath said against you, even the ancient had places are ours in possession. That's what our enemies been saying. This said the Elohim of hosts. This said the Elohim Yah, because the enemy had said against you, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. Therefore prophesy and say, this said the Elohim, because they have made you desolate and swallow you up on every side, that ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and ye are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are infamy of the people.
And that's the way we are now. Men, they call us all kind of messed up names. Black, Negroes, coons, African Americans, niggas,
Everything. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, ye mountains of Israel. You see, that's why come I say,
we're going to be in the mountains when we go back to the promised land, and how them Israelites that's in the valley next to the nuclear plants is not fulfilling prophecy.
Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Elohim Yah. This said the Elohim Yah to the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valleys, and to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which become a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are around about. Therefore, this said the Elohim Yah, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Edom, which have appointed my land unto their possession with the joy of all their heart.
And then that's what happened. I explained how the Edomites got our heritage, man, and how they moved in on us and took over the land after we was driven out and stuff.
So all this got to come to pass. Look, I have spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Edom, which have appointed my land unto their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Prophecy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say, men unto the mountain, to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valley. This spake the Elohim Yah, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because ye have borne the shame of the heathen. Therefore this said the Elohim Yah, I have lifted up my hand, and surely the heathen that are round about you, they shall bear their shame. But ye, O mountains of Israel, shall shoot forth your branches, and yield your fruit to my people of Israel, for they are at hand to come.
See, this ain't came to pass. And when we go back, we're going to have to be in the mountainous region. I'm talking to the enemies, man. Well, I'm talking to the people that control the promised land. They know that this Israelite issue need to be settled. And it's going to have to be settled through the Israelite Brotherhood. It's going to have to be settled through the Israelite Brotherhood. It'll be on it right, because the Israelite Brotherhood bringing the correct history for the Israelite community. We got to remember this when we start getting the power that the Israelite Brotherhood help us get here.
Look, let me see. For behold, I am for you, and I will turn unto you, and ye shall be tilled and sown. Look, all right. But, O ye mountains of Israel, shall shoot forth your branches, and yield your fruit to my people, O Israel, for they are at hand to come. For behold, I am for you, and I will turn unto you, and ye shall be tilled and sown, and I will multiply men upon you, all the house of Israel, even all of it, and the cities shall be inhabited, and the waste shall be built, and I will multiply upon you man and beast, and they shall increase and bring fruit, and I will settle you after your old estate, and will do better unto you than at your beginning, and ye shall know that I am the Elohim, and I will cause men to walk upon you, even my people Israel, and they shall possess thee, and thou shalt be their inheritance, and thou shalt no more henceforth berave them of men. This said the Elohim Yah, because they say unto you, thy land devours up men, and has beraved the nations. Therefore thou shalt devour men no more, neither berave the nations any more, said the Elohim. Neither will I cause men to hear. And what berave the nations is war, always there, because the original Israelites are not into land, are not in the promised land to bring peace. So it's going to be always war in the promised land if we ain't there. Indeed, the shame of the heathen anymore. Neither shalt thou bear the reproach of the people anymore. Neither shalt thou cause the nations to fall anymore, said the Elohim Yah. Moreover, the word of the Elohim came unto me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way and by their doings. That way was before me as the uncleanness of a removed woman. When I poured out my, you know what I'm saying, so all that came to pass, you know what I'm saying? And the Almighty, I say, me, he gonna give us a new heart. And I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed throughout the countries according to their will and according to their doing our judgment them. And when they entered into the heathen where they went, they profaned my holy name. When they said to them, these are the people of the Elohim, and are gone forth out of his land. But I had pity on my holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen, whether they went. Therefore say this unto the house of Israel, this saith the Elohim Yah, I will do not this for your sake, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake, which ye have profaned when among the heathen, whether ye went. And it's like that now. The Israelites profane Almighty Yah name when you call on to Jesus or believe in demigod worship. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them, and the heathen shall know that I am the Elohim, said the Elohim Yah, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. And that's what's going to happen when we go back to the promised land. We're going to be worshiping Almighty Yah, because we're going to know we come from captivity and we done made it back home. All right, for I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all the countries and will bring you into your own land. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean from all your filthiness, and from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh. You know what I'm saying? Men, where we can care about each other, love each other. And that's just like the prophecy that prophecy Jeremiah made. I turned right to it as soon as I opened the page. Look, Jeremiah 31. This ain't come to pass, but it's coming to pass now. Behold, the days come, said the Elohim, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, said the Elohim. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said the Elohim. I will put my law in their inward parts, and I will write it in their hearts, and I will be their Yah, and they shall be my people, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, know the Elohim, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, said the Elohim, for I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. So it's the same as this when he said that he gonna give us a new heart. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. That's like, the Amorites can't trick me on nothing. Man, they can't trick me on nothing. Man, it's hard to trick me. You cannot trick me with no religions. Man, you can't trick me with none of that stuff. No false gods or nothing. I only believe in Almighty Yah. You know what I'm saying? I only believe in Almighty Yah. And then it stands out. Man, how about my neighbors hate me? Man, I put on a crown sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But because I be, feeling good, man, that I know this Israelite history and I know who I am. You know what I'm saying? That I sit back, listen to my music. Man, and the folks ride by me, and you can see the hate in their eyes because I live different. You can see that it's a difference between me and them in my community, because it's going to be like that when you worship Almighty Yah. It's going to be all the way different than everybody else. You're going to be different than everybody else. You're going to stand out. And that's what's happening to me. You know what I'm saying? All right. And I will put in a new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh, and I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgments and do them, and ye shall dwell in the land that I give to your fathers, and ye shall be my people, and I will be your Yah, and I will also save you from all your uncleanness. And I will call for the corn and will increase it and lay no famine upon you. And I will multiply the fruit of the tree and the increase of the field, that ye shall receive no more reproach or famine among the heathen. Then shall ye remember your own evil ways and your doings that were not good, and shall loathe yourselves in your own sight for your iniquities and for your abominations. And that's what's happening now, man. We mad about our ancestors breaking bad, doing the Babylonian wars, being tricked into Africa to do the Egyptian religion. Man, we should be pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Look, not for your sake do I do this, said the Elohim Yah, Be it known unto you. Be ashamed and confound for your own ways, O house of Israel. This saith the Elohim Yah, in the day that I shall have cleansed you from all your iniquities, I will also cause you to dwell in the cities, and the way shall be built, and the desolate land shall be tilled, whereas it lay desolate in the sight of all that pass by. And they shall say, this is the land that was desolate has become like the Garden of Eden, and the waste and the desolate and the ruined cities are become fenced and are inhabited. Then the heathen that are left round about you shall know that I, the Elohim, have built the ruined places and plant that was desolate, and I, the Elohim, have spoken it, and I will do it. This said the Elohim, Yah, I will yet for this be required of by the house of Israel to do it for them. I will increase them with men like flock, as the holy flock, and as the flock of Jerusalem in the solemn feasts, so shall the waste cities be filled with the flocks of men, and they shall know that I am the Elohim. That the hand of the Elohim was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of the Elohim and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones. You know what I'm saying? That's us, them bones scattered, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Elohim Yah, thou knowest. Again he said unto me, Prophesy unto these bones, and say unto them, All ye dry bones, hear the word of the Elohim. This said the Elohim Yahweh unto these dry bones, behold, I will cause the breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I will lay swinu men upon you, and ye will bring flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am the Elohim. That's right now, we some dead, plucked, dry bones, and man, our enemies done plucked us dry. And we've been dry a long time. Dry bones since the Babylonian wars, when we abandoned the covenant for Egyptian religion, man. So our bones very dry. All right. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones come together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the swino of the flesh come upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. Then said he unto me, Prophecy unto the wind, prophecy, son of man, and say to the wind, This said the Elohim Yah, come from the four winds of the breath. Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain that they may live. So I prophesied, and as he commanded. You know what I'm saying? I prophesied as he commanded, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood up, men upon their feet, an exceedingly great army. An exceedingly great army. Then said he unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say, Our bones are dried, and our hope is lost. We are cut off from our parts. And that's what our enemies been saying for the longest. If you look at the state of the mind of the Israelites, man, and how we all messed up, man. I'm talking about, man, Israelites don't know left from right. Don't even have a clue that they the children of Israel. And how they living in a Amorite created fantasy world. But how Almighty Yah is bringing us back as proof by the Israelite brotherhood. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say our bones are dry, and our hope is lost. We are cut off from our parts. Therefore prophecy and say unto them, This saith the Elohim Yah, Behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am the Elohim when I have opened your graves of my people and brought you up out of your graves. And it's like now, we in the grave now. We in the grave now. The people, man, is dead. But Almighty Yah finna bring them out with this truth as happening now. And I will put my spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I will place you in your own land. Then shall ye know that I am the Elohim, and have spoken it and performed it, said the Elohim. The word of the Elohim came up to me, saying, Son of man, more of, all right, we was made one. All right, now look, we know we need some land, that the freedom from captivity and strange land, man,
that prophecy is set to come to pass when we get free, because America is not finna be on the gold standard that the Eastern nation on. So America finna have to go to war soon. If they don't go to war soon, they not gonna be able to buy resources and get resources to even defend themselves if war break out. So they caught in a little time spell. They got to hurry up. You know what I'm saying? And then having our own land, sovereignty. Let's look up the word sovereignty, man. I want to see what that word sovereignty mean. You know what I'm saying? Sovereignty. Sovereignty. Let's see what sovereignty. Sovereignty is the supreme authority within a territory in any state. Sovereignty is assigned to the person, body, or institution that has the ultimate authority over other people in order to establish a law or change in existing laws. So that's what we need. You know what I'm saying? Some sovereignty over ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We need some sovereignty, and Almighty Yah gonna give it to us. You know, Almighty Yah gonna give it to us. All right, Hebrews, this is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. You know, it's some prophecies that ain't come to pass, that's set to come to pass. And man, they gonna come to pass. You know, we gonna have some sovereignty, and we gonna be free one day. And how this knowledge about us being the Israelites, the people from the transatlantic slave trade, is taking place. And that how the people that's been claiming the Israelite heritage that are not Israelites, you finna be exposed soon. Message from the Israelite Brotherhood.